Welcome to Dreamtale Sleep Stories. Tonight's reading is the Digital Detox Journey. Settle into your bed or sofa and let your shoulders, jaw, and eyelids grow heavy. Inhale slowly, 1, 2, 3, and sigh the air away, allowing the day to fade into quiet dark. With every soft inhale, you invite fresh English phrases. With every gentle exhale, stray thoughts drift farther off. Behind my voice flows a gentle 528 Hz melody, renowned for guiding the mind toward deep relaxation. Keep your eyes closed or follow the captions, whichever feels right. Simply receive the rhythm and resonance of the language. Deep in rest, tonight's phrases will take root like seeds, ready to bloom into stronger English skills with the morning light. When you feel settled, hold that unhurried breath and allow yourself to drift into the tale. The Digital Detox Journey begins now, and when the story's final line has faded, the music will linger a little longer, carrying you gently deeper into sleep. The Digital Detox Journey. Jacob was a 20-year-old college student who spent most of his day staring at screens. He checked his phone every few minutes, scrolled through social media during meals, and even kept his phone next to his pillow at night. His friends often joked that his phone was like an extra body part, but Jacob didn't think it was funny anymore. One Tuesday morning, Jacob woke up and immediately reached for his phone, as he did every day. He had 17 new notifications from various apps, and he felt a familiar rush of excitement. But as he scrolled through the messages, photos, and videos, he realized that none of them were important or meaningful. Most were just advertisements, random posts from people he barely knew, or news that made him feel anxious. During his psychology class that morning, Professor Martinez was discussing addiction and how it affects the brain. Modern technology can create the same chemical responses in our brains as gambling or drugs, she explained. The constant notifications and updates trigger dopamine releases that make us crave more and more stimulation. Jacob shifted uncomfortably in his seat. He had pulled out his phone 3 times during the 50-minute lecture, even though Professor Martinez had asked everyone to put their devices away. He couldn't concentrate on what she was saying because he kept thinking about the messages he might be missing. After class, Jacob's roommate David mentioned that he looked tired all the time. "You're always on that thing," David said, pointing at Jacob's phone. "When's the last time you had a real conversation with someone without checking your phone in the middle of it?" Jacob tried to remember, but he couldn't. Even when he was with his girlfriend Sarah, he found himself looking at his phone during their dates. Sarah had complained about it several times, saying she felt like she was competing with his device for his attention. That evening, Jacob decided to do an experiment. He would count how many times he picked up his phone in 1 hour while doing homework. The results shocked him. In 60 minutes, he had checked his phone 34 times. Most of the time, there were no new messages or notifications. He was picking up his phone out of pure habit. Jacob realized he had a serious problem. His phone usage was affecting his relationships, his studies, and his sleep. He often stayed awake until 2 or 3 in the morning, watching videos or reading posts, then felt exhausted the next day. His grades had started to slip because he couldn't focus on studying without constantly checking for updates. The next day, Jacob made a decision that would change his life. He announced to his friends and family that he was going to do a complete digital detox for 30 days. No smartphone, no social media, no unnecessary internet browsing. He would only use a computer for essential schoolwork and keep an old flip phone for emergency calls. His friends thought he was crazy. "How will you know what's happening in the world?" asked his friend Mike. "How will you stay in touch with everyone?" Sarah was more supportive. "I think it's a great idea," she said. "Maybe we can spend more quality time together." Jacob's parents were worried but encouraging. His mother said, "We lived perfectly fine before smartphones existed. You might discover some things about yourself that you've forgotten." On the first day of his digital detox, Jacob felt physically anxious. His hand kept reaching for his pocket, where his phone usually was. He felt like he was missing something important, even though logically he knew that nothing urgent was happening. The urge to check social media was so strong that he had to keep reminding himself why he was doing this experiment. To distract himself, Jacob decided to go for a walk around campus. Without his phone to stare at, he noticed things he had never seen before. There was a beautiful garden behind the library with different types of flowers and birds. He saw students playing frisbee on the grass, couples having picnics, and people reading actual books under trees. Jacob realized that he had been walking through his daily life without really seeing it. He had been so focused on the digital world that he had missed the real world happening around him. In the first week, Jacob struggled with boredom. He had become so used to constant entertainment that he didn't know what to do with quiet moments. Waiting for the bus used to mean scrolling through his phone, but now he had to just stand there with his thoughts. Initially, this felt uncomfortable, but gradually he started to enjoy these peaceful moments. Jacob rediscovered the joy of reading physical books. He went to the library and checked out novels that he had wanted to read for months, but never had time for because he was always distracted by his phone. He found that he could concentrate much better and actually remember what he read. During the second week, Jacob noticed improvements in his relationships. When he had conversations with friends, he gave them his full attention. People seemed to enjoy talking to him more because he was really listening instead of waiting for his phone to buzz. Sarah mentioned that their dates felt more romantic and connected. Jacob also started sleeping better. Without the blue light from screens before bedtime, and without the temptation to check just one more thing, he fell asleep faster and woke up more refreshed. His energy levels during the day improved significantly. In the third week, Jacob discovered new hobbies. He joined a photography club at school, but instead of taking pictures with his phone to post online, he used an old film camera. The process of developing photos in the darkroom was slow and deliberate, very different from the instant gratification of digital photography. Each picture required thought and patience. Jacob also started cooking real meals instead of just ordering food while distracted by his phone. He found recipes in cookbooks from the library and enjoyed the process of creating something with his hands. Sharing these meals with David and Sarah became a daily highlight. During this time, Jacob began keeping a handwritten journal. Writing his thoughts on paper felt more personal and meaningful than typing them on a device. He wrote about his experiences, his emotions, and his observations about the world around him. The journal became a place where he could process his thoughts without the pressure of likes, comments, or other people's opinions. By the fourth week, Jacob felt like a different person. His anxiety levels had decreased significantly. He no longer felt the constant need to be entertained or stimulated. He had learned to appreciate quiet moments, deep conversations, and simple pleasures like watching a sunset or listening to birds singing. Jacob also noticed that his memory had improved. When he wasn't constantly multitasking between the real world and the digital world, he could remember conversations, details from his classes, and events more clearly. His professors commented that his participation in class discussions had become much more thoughtful and engaged. As the 30-day challenge came to an end, Jacob felt both proud and nervous. He had proven to himself that he could survive without constant digital connection. But he wondered how he would integrate technology back into his life without falling into old habits. On day 31, Jacob turned on his smartphone for the first time in a month. He was surprised by how overwhelming it felt. The notifications, the colors, the constant demands for his attention seemed almost aggressive after his peaceful month offline. Many of the messages and updates that had seemed so urgent 30 days ago now appeared trivial and unimportant. Jacob decided that he wanted to maintain many of the benefits he had gained during his digital detox. He created new rules for himself about technology use. He would check his phone only at specific times during the day, never during meals or conversations, and never in the hour before bedtime. He also decided to keep one day each week completely screen-free. Jacob deleted most of the apps from his phone, keeping only those that were truly necessary for communication and essential tasks. He realized that he didn't need to know what everyone was doing every moment of every day. The constant stream of other people's highlight reels had made him feel inadequate about his own life. But now he understood that real happiness came from being present in his own experiences. 3 months later, Jacob reflected on how much his life had changed. His grades had improved because he could focus better during study sessions. His relationship with Sarah was stronger because they communicated more meaningfully. He had developed new skills and hobbies that brought him genuine satisfaction rather than empty entertainment. Most importantly, Jacob had learned that he was in control of his relationship with technology, not the other way around. He didn't need to be constantly connected to feel fulfilled. The real world, with all its imperfections and slow moments, was far more interesting and rewarding than anything he could find on a screen. Jacob often shared his experience with other students who were struggling with similar issues. He encouraged them to try their own digital detox experiments, even if just for a few days. Many of his friends were inspired by the positive changes they saw in him and decided to reduce their own screen time. The Digital Detox Journey had taught Jacob that true connection comes from being present with the people and experiences in front of you. While technology could be a useful tool, it was important not to let it become a substitute for living a real, engaged, and meaningful life. Jacob continued to use his journal, take photographs with his film camera, and cook meals without digital distractions. These activities had become sources of joy and creativity that no app or social media platform could replicate. He had discovered that the most important updates in his life were the ones happening in his own mind and heart, not on his phone screen. you